To change this fraction into a decimal, I want to get my denominator to 100. So I'm going to do 20 times 5. Whatever I multiply the bottom, I need to multiply the top. So I would get 40 over 100, which is 40 hundredths. And remember, we don't need that 0 at the end. So 0.4 could be your final answer here. Remember, answer. What do you know about these two? Yes, that's right. They're equal. Okay, let's try the next one. 75 hundredths is written like this as a fraction, which we know is 3/4, so we get 3/4. If you had 0.25, what would that equal as a fraction? Okay, so let's now change the following fractions into mixed numbers. So here you could divide. So I'm going to put my 4 on the outside, 29 on the inside. It goes in 7 times, and I get 7 1/4. For my next one, I'm going to again put the 8 on the outside, 45 on the inside, and divide. 8 times 5 would be 40. I'm left with 5/8. Okay, let's come down here. If I want to write this as a mixed number, 1.4, that means I have 1 4/10. What does this simplify to? That's right, 1 2/5. My next one, 2 25 hundredths. Can you simplify it? Yes. Right, divide the top and the bottom down like your quarters, 2 1/4. Okay, now I needed to subtract these fractions here. So my first step is to make my common denominator between 3 and 4. So you should have gotten 12. So I'm going to rewrite it with my common denominator of 12. So 3 times 4, 1 times 4. 5 4, 12. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. I get 1 9/12. Now look at that one. What do you notice there? If the first fraction is smaller, I'm going to break apart that whole number. I have 4, and this whole number I broke apart was 12/12. So now I have my 4 I had before plus my 12 to give me 16/12. Now I'm going to rewrite it. And now I can do my subtraction. 4 minus 1 gives me 3. 16 minus 9 will give me 7/12. Here would be my final answer. Okay, let's take a look at our next one here. 5 3/7 minus 2 6/7. Again, what do we notice? My first fraction is smaller, so I need to break apart my whole number. This is going to be 4, and on that last candy bar, 7/7. So 7 plus 3 gives me 10/7. And now I can go ahead and do my subtraction. 4 minus 2 is 2. 10 minus 6 is 4/7. 2 4/7. Let's go on and check our next one here. What is my common denominator on this question here? That's right, our common denominator is 12. So I'm going to rewrite it with the 12. 3 times 4 is 12, so I do 1 times 4. And my second one I don't need to change. Now I can go ahead and subtract. When we subtract here, I don't have any whole numbers, so I have 8. And then I'm just going to subtract my fractions. 4 twelfths minus 1 twelfth gives me 3 twelfths. Now there's one more step I need to do on this one. What is it? Simplify. What is your answer after you simplify? You need to divide the top by 3 and the bottom by 3. You should get 8 and 1/4 for your final answer. Okay, here, if we're looking at this one, my first step is to find a common denominator. So if you're not sure between 5 and 15, you can always make your chart. And we can see 15 is my denominator, so I'm going to leave the first one alone. Make my second one here. And remember, if it's easier, rewrite this, right? -4 minus 9 across the top. Because you're just solving -4 minus 9. What is -4 minus 9? Right? We should have gotten -13. And -13/15 would be your answer. Let's take a look at our next one. First step, I notice I have a plus and a negative in the middle, so I'm going to rewrite it as a subtraction question. I know my common denominator is 8. If you used a larger common denominator, that's fine, as long as you reduce your final answer at the end. So now just go ahead and subtract. Put in what you get for your final answer here for this question. 1/8 should be what you got. Let's look at our next one. Here, I have a negative and a negative, which gives me a positive, so I'm going to rewrite it first. And then I have my common denominator of 15. So I'm going to rewrite it with that 15 here. And then I'm going to add those two up, and I get 14/15. Now let's come down where we were substituting and evaluating. Here I need to plug in what C is, 6.13. So I'm going to plug it in, -9.7 minus 6 13/100. Remember, same signs are sad, so we add. You could have either turned them into fractions or just write them as decimals here and add that 0. We add these up here. We get 15.83. Don't forget the negative sign. My next one, I'm going to plug in what B is here, 1.56 plus a negative 8.4. So I know my negative's going to win here. And I'm subtracting a larger number, so I know my answer must be negative. So I'm going to just go ahead and subtract 8.4 minus 1.56. Add that 0 there. When I subtract here, right, I get negative 6.84. Don't forget that sign. Okay, my next one, I'm going to plug in what C is. So once I plug in what C is, I see I have two signs in the middle. The negative always wins. So if I have the same signs are sad, so we add. It doesn't matter how you listed them when you added. When I add these up here, I get negative 9.43. Let me come up here. Okay, A is 8. So I'm going to plug in 8 minus negative 1.6. And a negative give me a positive. I'm really just adding over here. 8.0, 1.6. You could have also turned these into fractions and added this as a fraction. What would that give us? This as a fraction would be 9 6/10, and you could have even simplified it down if you wanted to 9 3/5. It's not a requirement on this part though. Okay, so this next one, I'm adding two negatives, so I know my answer is going to be a bigger negative. So I'm just going to ignore those signs and add my two numbers here. And I know my answer must be a negative. Now this one is just a positive and a positive. What did you get when you added these together? You should have gotten 8.43 here. Nice job. Now go ahead and start your math space. This is going to help you for our summative on Fusion this week. Thanks for watching.